Hi everyone, today I'm going to be reading George Brown Class Clown Trouble Magnet Chapter 9. Let's get started. Chapter 9. We're the runny noses, and we're running after you. We're the runny noses, can't be stopped with no tissue. George sang the backyard vocals as he played his keyboard. He looked into the audience to see if he could spot his parents. There were a lot of people out there, but it was always easy to find his dad. An army uniform really stood out in the crowd. Coming to you as hard as a sneeze. We'll just play as long as we please. The lyrics were pretty dumb. Louis had written them, and Mike and Max kept saying how cool the song was. So those were the words they used. George tried to play in the time with Mike's drums. It wasn't easy. Every now and then, Mike would speed up or slow down. But then again, George didn't always play the right notes, and Louis had forgotten a couple of words in the first verse. But no one seemed to notice. In fact, some people were clapping along. George was starting to have a good time. Then suddenly, he got a strange feeling in his stomach. A bunch of bubbles were suddenly bouncing up and down all around his belly. Oh no, not again! George had to stop that burp right now. But this time, he couldn't use his hands to beat down the burp. He had to keep on playing. So he just held his breath until his face turned red. Louis turned around to face George. "What are you doing?" he whispered angrily. George didn't answer. He couldn't. The bubbles ping-ponged their way up to George's stomach. They ping-ponged, binged their way to his chest. They ping-ponged, binged their way up to his throat. And then, burp! George let out the loudest burp in the history of Edith B. Sorkin Elementary School. In fact, if burping counted as a talent, George would have walked away with a trophy. The super-duper mega burping trophy. The audience laughed really hard. Louis and Mike just stared at him. "It wasn't me," George said. The words slipped right out of George's mouth. He hadn't meant to say them. The audience just laughed harder. And then George's feet got a great idea. They slipped right out of their shoes and wiggled out their socks. Then his feet popped themselves onto the keyboard. George tried to stop them. He tried to stop them down from the piano. "Stop!" he ordered. But George's feet would not obey his toes. His toes wanted to play the keyboard. "Go tell Aunt Rhody. Go tell Aunt Rhody." "What are you playing?" Louis asked. "That's for kindergartners." But it was the only song George's toes knew, so they kept playing it. "Go tell Aunt Rhody. Go tell Aunt Rhody. Go tell Aunt Rhody the old gray goose is dead." "Cut it out," Louis shouted. George turned and smiled at the audience. He stood up and took a bow. The kids all cheered wildly, and then before George even knew what he was doing, dive bomb. Dive bomb, George shouted as he took a flying leap off the stage. Whew! George was scaring in the air and headed right for the crowd. A bunch of older kids, one of them was Louis' brother, reached out. Two kids caught his leg. Someone's dad caught him right in the armpits. His head fell into someone's arm. The crowd cheered wildly. "George! George! George!" Pop! Just then George felt something burst in his belly. Whoosh! All the air rushed right out of him. The super burp was gone, but George was still there. As he looked up, he realized Miss McCone was holding his head, and she did not look happy. Uh-oh, George had just dive-bombed into the principal. This was a bada. Thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss Chapter 10. Like, comment down below. Have a great day. Bye!